Drop shadows can add a little bit more realism to your scenes. And even if it's a cartoon, having a shadow will really cement that character or those objects in that place. And it can really sell the illusion that, you're looking at a real breathing character instead of just a 2D drawing. What we're going to do is apply a drop shadow to something very basic so we can understand the fundamentals of it. So I'm going to grab an ellipse here, and I'm going to draw out our shape, and we'll go to the properties, and we're going to fill this guy in. So I'll go to my color palette, and I'll click on blue, and I'm also going to get rid of the stroke. I'll move this up a little bit, and I'm going to go to the camera view so we can apply our drop shadow effect. As you see here, we have our drawing, and we're going to go to the element menu, and we're going to add a drop shadow effect. The drop shadow effect appears in your timeline as a separate element, and we have our drawing right underneath it. Now, like many things in Toom Studio, we have to parent something to something else for the effect to take place. So we're going to click our drawing and drag it right on top of where it says drop shadow effect. And now the drop shadow is enabled. What we could do now is click on the drop shadow itself and position it where we'd like it to go. And we can use these tools to help shape the shadow. So you can skew it, and you can stretch it to deform the shadow, and then place it where you'd like to with the little circle here. The cool thing about the drop shadow is that we can apply some effects on the shadow itself, such as we can change the color, and you click on the color swatch right here under the drop shadow controls in the property panel. And what I'm going to do is click the magnifying glass here and select the blue here, because most shadows do take a bit of the color from wherever the source is. And I'm going to drop this color down to a darker blue, like so. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to also decrease the opacity of the shadow. Of course, it depends on your light source. If you have a very powerful light source, then you're going to have a very harsh shadow. And if you have a very faint light source, you're going to have a very light shadow. So it depends on what's going on with your scene. As you notice here, you can also manually enter a value to determine your shadow. You can also choose to hide the elements that are creating the actual shadow itself. And this might be useful if you want to put a shadow under something else that's already in your scene, such as a coffee cup, and you really don't want to see this ball here. So you can just use this as a reference to create your shadow. So once again, a drop shadow can be a very helpful tool to really sell the realism of something like a 2D animation, so that, the characters feel more real and they're really cemented in the space.